Joel Freeman is not a stranger if you have been watching 100 Huntley Street over the years. In fact, I have interviewed him in the past, a long time ago actually, as I recall, but nevertheless, when I saw that Joel was coming our way, I thought, I know this guy. And as soon as I saw him, I said, yes, I do. Welcome back, Joel.
It's good to be here, Jim.
Well, you know, your book here, let's just talk about your book here right off the top. If nobody loves you, create the demand. You've created a demand, a powerful jolt of entrepreneurial energy and wisdom. And in the book, you talk very, very practically, and I enjoyed it, about how to not only make your way in the world, but also succeed in business or whatever it is you're doing. Why the book?
Well, I first wrote it for time management. I love to help people, love to talk with people, so sometimes people would call me up and we'd spend an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and finally I had this aha experience. Why not put it all together, because I was giving some of the same principles to people, and just tell them, read this manuscript, read the book first, and then I'll talk with you. Yeah.
Now, it's interesting how many people want what you have to offer in this book and also in your seminars. On the back of the book, it talks of you as a success and business coach to executives, motivational consultant, mentor to pro athletes. You work with corporations, you work with entertainers, you work with everybody. I would think, and as I'm reading the book, I'm thinking, boy, you know, this is just really, really common sense. I mean, as I was reading the book, I'm thinking there's nothing here that's a revelation, but it's stuff that kind of falls between the cracks in our lives. And like, for instance, one of the things that I've always believed, and in enhancing your influence, you talk about contacting the key decision maker. I mean, that's a restatement of the obvious, and yet it's not obvious to people. They call a corporation or a company, they want an interview for a job, or they want to sell a product, and they talk to the receptionist and give their pitch to the receptionist, and the receptionist isn't the decision maker.
What happens is common sense is not always common practice.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I wanted to share in there, for instance, the brand of my company is 7 words.
Yeah.
Dealing with people who drive you crazy.
Right.
And so sometimes I'll get a gatekeeper, and who is doing what he or she does well to protect the key decision maker, time and schedule. And then I'll say, you know, I do seminars, and by the way, the most popular one is called Dealing with People Who Drive You Crazy. And here's this very staid, very protective person suddenly letting out a laugh and saying, oh, we need that around here. Let's see, I'll get Dr. Jones on the phone for you. And little do I know that perhaps Dr. Jones is driving this person crazy. And so it's something that I think the whole idea of branding and to reach out to the right individuals is to have something that is like a zebra running with horses. The zebra looks like a horse if you kind of squint your eyes, and acts like a horse, but then when you look at it, it just stands out. And so I believe in having a little bit of shtick, a little bit of humor, and something that works with the personality to help, with the individual's personality to help to bring what you have to offer, whether it's a good, some goods or a service, to let it stand out in the midst of horses, if you will.
Now, and there's so much wisdom in the book. Just so you know, friends, and it's a book that's well worth reading. And not only is it really significantly endorsed, but Joel talks about the death of a vision, designing your future, branding yourself, marketing yourself, enhancing your influence, reinventing yourself, work hard, work smart, bartering your services. This all has great relevance in times of economic stress, because more and more people are thinking about starting their own businesses, right?
Very true. And in fact, when I work with young kids, I've done a lot of work with kids, especially in places called Job Corps and other places like that. And I just say, either you're going to be an employer or you're going to be an employee. And nothing's wrong with either one, or nothing's right with either one, but it's a mindset. And so sometimes if an individual can have an idea, I'm going to be an employer. I'm going to create something here that I can hire 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, and I can help with the families of these individuals, and I can provide something that can really encourage people and doing good while doing well.
Yeah. Now, Rick Warren has written a famous book called The Purpose-Driven Life. Chapter 12 in your book is The Curiosity-Driven Life. Why is curiosity so important?
Because I believe that when we go through tough times, for instance, there's one chapter called Death of a Vision. And so many times when people have a business idea, an invention, maybe you have a musician, maybe a filmmaker, someone just with an idea that's gurgling around, ricocheting around in their brains, what happens is that there is going to come the death of that vision. And sometimes it dies 2 or 3 times. And I think that's what really tests the seams of the soul. An individual needs to have something that motivates them, that pulls them through that. So in the death of a vision, it's very important to be driven and motivated by something, and I believe it's the Lord that motivates us, but it's also the whole idea of curiosity. How is this going to turn out? I've invested a lot of emotional capital, a lot of financial capital, chronological capital, my time, and I'm going to hang in there to see how this works out.
And it's not always a bad thing to pass a vision onto someone else and dream a new dream, right?
That's right.
In fact, sometimes the visionary, the founder, can become a bottleneck.
That's right.
And there comes a point where he's really got to have developed successors. It's important to understand this because being a bit of a visionary myself, I keep saying, to my staff and to Kathy, my wife, I will not be a bottleneck. I will develop other people, and when the day comes, I will move on seamlessly. I've done it before, and I hope to do it again. What about you? You've got quite an enterprise going on here. Are you thinking in terms of what happens when the dream is over for you?
Absolutely. Success without succession is not success at all.
Yeah.
And so I'm grooming some individuals. I have Black History galleries that I'm developing. I have the Rosetta Stone project and the magazine project and some other things. Of course, my company, the Freeman Institute. So in each enterprise, I have my eyes on individuals that I'm grooming to take over in the inevitable time when I kind of peel away and move on to other things or just decide I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, or the question is often asked to me, so Jim, what happens to your ministry if you get hit by a bus? I say, I don't want to think about that. What's with the Rosetta Stone project? Tell me about that.
Well, it's the whole idea behind it came when I was in Egypt with one of my kids, and I went to the place where the Rosetta Stone was discovered.
I think we have a picture of it, right? Yeah, there it is. Now, is that the real deal, or that's a replica?
That's the replica. We went to a place called Fenwick Island, and I wanted to recreate the whole concept of when the Rosetta Stone was found in 1799 by the French soldiers, and they saw the hieroglyphics, the Demotic script, kind of a Coptic language, and then the Greek. And they knew what the Greek said. It says the same thing as going to be in all 3 languages, a trilingual inscription. And so what captured me about this is that I believe this is one of the finest, most incredible archaeological discoveries in the last few centuries, because it not only unlocked the secrets of ancient Egypt once the code to hieroglyphics was cracked, which took about 23 years to do so, but then also it helped to slow down the whole process of archaeology, because you had these young adventurous men from Europe going into these Palestine and Egypt, and they'd bring some dynamite, some pickaxes and shovels, and blow up a bunch of stuff, bring back 20%, and say, look what we found. And what happened is that once the Rosetta Stone was found in the mid-1800s, you could see the whole process of controlled demolition. Here's a tell, a hill. Let's attack it with a toothbrush, and let's make sure every layer is codified and written down. So what I wanted to share about this is that the principles in the book, I have something called the idea factory. It's the opportunity finder, because ideas come from all kinds of places. You can be in line at the bank and hear 2 people grumbling about something. Boom, an idea comes. Just like a woman in Philadelphia area, she was an investment banker, and a gentleman, he was a famous pitcher for Philadelphia Phillies, and he was kind of talking about his dogs, and he says, I hate picking up the poo in the backyard. And within 3 years, she had a business, hired 9 people, made over $1 million a year, picking up dog poo in people's backyards. But it came from someone complaining about what loved his dogs but hated the job
Right.
after